Judge Mablean Ephriam and her daughter, Taj Paxton, have already made television history. Both ladies are nominated for Daytime Emmys. I'm Michael Reel, and this is Real Urban News. While on the road to the 45th Annual Daytime Emmys, we speak with the judge and the producer exclusively. Yeah, I feel love it. Judge, you've been on television for nearly 2 decades. You're just now receiving your first nomination for a Daytime Emmy. Talk about that experience.
Well, it's really exciting and totally unexpected. When I got the call from Carolyn Folks over at ESTV, I was just shocked. I had absolutely, well, let's say it like this. It's beyond my imagination. There's a scripture in the Bible that says, now to him who's able to do exceedingly abundantly above all that you can ask or think. That's what this moment is for me, above all that I could ask or think.
And what's the above clause is that your daughter, Taj Paxton, sitting next to you.
That takes it way over the top.
Is nominated.
Well, now, it's interesting that it's not above that she would be nominated for it, because I would expect that from her. I've expected that of her. I've expect her to achieve at that level because I've always had very high expectations for her. She's a bright child, and she has always been since she was born. So it's not above and beyond my imagination that this would happen for her. And it's her third nomination. But her third nomination, and she's won too, but it's above my imagination for me because I never thought of myself as being on television, period, or in this industry, because this is not something that I love.
Taj, this is a history-making moment. We'll let you jump in.
Yes, it really is. I feel like the opportunity, she's right though, the opportunity to do it together is what really makes it special. I think that when we got notice of one morning that the film, the documentary Kevyn Aucoin had been nominated for Outstanding Class Special, I was proud of that moment. Our network has put a lot of work into making sure that the films, reach the proper audiences. I was proud of that. But when I got the message that she was nominated at the same time, that's when it blew my mind.
Judge, what was that phone call like for you ladies when you called your daughter or your daughter called you to talk about both being nominated?
It's so interesting. I got a call from ES.
And she was on the phone. And when I called her to say, Mommy, we're both nominated, I'll call you back. So she was already on the phone with somebody else by the time I called her.
Yeah, I was on the phone with ES when she called me. Carolyn had just told me on the telephone that I was nominated. Then I read her email that said she was nominated. I was like, what? This is amazing. I don't believe it. So I was just totally shocked.
For you, watching your mom on television for 19 years, nearly 2 decades, a public figure, what has that been like for you, and then how has that shaped your career? You've had a stellar career.
You know what, watching her on television is like a dream come true. Really? Because in our family, we've always felt like she had a message and she had something to say, and she's always ready to pour into people. That's just who she is. And so when this happened, it just felt like, well, great, now she gets a chance to pour into millions of people every day. Those first few years of watching her on billboards, as a child, I always felt like she was everywhere. Her eyes were everywhere. So then it was freaky to be an adult. Literally, her eyes were everywhere. You would turn a corner and see a billboard, and you're like, oh, right, don't make that decision. Okay, I will be talking back to billboards in the street. And now in the years since then, it's settled in a little bit more. But we are still out sometimes, and people will recognize her and stop her, and you're really just enjoying your mother, and you want the experience of having your mother with you, and you realize that your mother also has an obligation to talk to the people who have approached her. So I share her now, but I share her wisdom, I share her guidance, I share her approach to discipline, and I feel like everybody gets to benefit from what we have all benefited from all these years.
Wow.
Judge, your daughter's had a remarkable career. I'm sure you've seen her Emmy-nominated film, Kevyn Aucoin. Beauty and the Beast in Me.
Yes.
Talk about that experience, seeing your daughter's work.
Every time I watch her work, and I know that she had a hand in deciding this film and putting it on television for a purpose, I see that she understands her purpose and that she's moving in her purpose. And I really am glad about that, because she has always not felt that she was high enough. She sets a real high bar for herself, and she's very hard on herself. And she always says, "Mommy, I'm not doing it. I'm not achieving." And I have to remind her that. What?
Don't tell people I cry.
I didn't say that word. See, I said she sets a high bar for herself, and she's always concerned that she's not reaching the bar. And I have to keep reminding her that she's bright, she's intelligent, that she is doing great work, and that it's in her, and that it can happen. So I'm so happy that this network, Logo Networks, has given her an opportunity to shine, and her work has just progressed, and she's grown so much, and for the world to see and to know what I've always known, that she's a special child.
How important is it from both of you ladies that your work is on Logo, which is a predominantly gay network? How important is it as an African American that you're telling those stories that really galvanize the world?
I think it's highly important. One of the things that stands out for the programming that we have is that we're not just talking about where you're LGBT, we're talking about the intersections and the way that people's lives are every day. And you're not just LGBT, you're Black, you're a woman, you're from the Middle East, you're from the South. You know, in the case of Kevyn, he was from Louisiana, and what that experience was like growing up there and growing up fundamentalist Christian in a very strict household. So it's important that it not all look the same way, because everybody's experiences are different. And so if we're going to really talk about a rainbow, like, let's talk about a rainbow of different experiences. And that's been our focus. And I feel privileged that I've been able to tell those different kinds of stories. I think the feedback has been people feel like the films represent them.
Kevyn, and you said off camera, really created the modern day supermodel with his makeup, his style, his presence. How did he touch your life?
Here, film me. Stay right there.
He was always filming, and it is like a time capsule. Kevyn was the greatest makeup artist that's ever lived.
Kevyn could do anything.
Oh, I like that.
Definitely Kevyn was the go-to celebrity makeup artist.
Kevyn was always looking for love.
Being adopted and being gay on top of that it was very difficult. I quit high school because 2 kids tried to kill me in a pickup truck. And I decided that was it. We must fight, not with violence and hatred, but with love and compassion for those who would like to see us disappear.
He was having massive headaches.
Needed medication, but we also thought that he was abusing it.
Just sweating.
It just made no sense. What happened? What happened?
There'll never be another Kevyn Aucoin. Never. Never, never.
Kevyn would have loved that the footage would be seen by everyone. His legacy lives.
What really touched me was the filmmaker Lori, when she brought the story. She was a friend of his. She knew him before he passed away, and she talked about his dedication to his craft. And he did elevate the craft. The 90s supermodels, it took fashion, it took makeup, it took hair, and he was the makeup component. He published 2 very successful books that became guides for other people to become makeup artists. But what was striking about him is that he was adopted. And he never got over the pain of being adopted. Wow. And in that way, he just had a hole in his heart. So even as big as he got and all these people he touched, that hole just never got filled. And I think I related to that, to someone who could become as mega successful as he was and then still have this longing. And I think a lot of people relate to that, like you can get everything you want and still If you haven't worked on your inner and healed what's inside, it's just not enjoyable. So I can imagine that must have been very difficult for him.
Judge, as we pivot, you have elevated daytime television. You've been in the court genre for a long time. You have a great reputation. How does that feel now, that space that you're in?
For her salon?
Yes.
Okay, what'd you find out?
I found out that they actually do use a
How'd you find that
liquid
out?
relaxer from on the site. Your Honor, I had to. My proof is
This
in.
no, yep, is somebody saying she uses a relaxer. That's not proof that she did it. I could go write this article, and I've never been to her salon. And I could go on Yelp, put in the name of her salon, and tell a whole lot of stuff about it, and I've never been. It feels natural because, as Taj said, I see it as an opportunity to pour into people's lives. And I say my job on television is not just to entertain, but it's to educate, to motivate, to stimulate, and to teach people that they can be who they want to be. Some people on television say, I don't want to be a role model. I'm not a role model. I say, yes, you are. I am definitely a role model and happy to be a role model. And I understand that being that role model, I have to make certain that I carry myself in a manner that people, when they emulate me, that is positive. I have to say things to people that touch their lives, that help them, that elevate their lives. Again, back to the scripture. When you say words and things, you're supposed to say words that edify and that lift you up. I want people to learn from other people's mistakes. You don't have to do the same thing. When you're watching a case on television and you see what this couple did, don't repeat the mistake so you can learn without being a part of it. And there are so many people out there like me who don't feel that they're beautiful.
That was my scar. I had some scars of low self-esteem. I had scars where I didn't like this dark skin that God had put me in. I had scars that I didn't like this healthy, voluptuous body that God had given me. But I thank the Lord that those scars are gone.
Young girls growing up, dark skin, short hair, whatever, don't feel that they're beautiful. Looking at me, they know they're beautiful. I get letters and emails from women who said, I never wore red lipstick because I thought I was too black, I thought I was too dark, I didn't wear it. I wear red lipstick. As a matter of fact, I wear red. I love red fingernail polish, red, you know, I'm the red girl. But I had those feelings. I still have some feelings of inadequacy sometimes, but when I'm able to explain that, to share that, to talk to other people, to uplift someone else, to change their minds, that is what I'm all about. My living is for giving hope to others, for uplifting others, and I love the opportunity to do so in television, as well as educate them on the law, because the law I love. Day and night, I live the law.
Women have been in the news the past year, and as I was kind of thinking about the questions, I was just kind of, do we talk about it from one perspective, or do we talk about it from the standpoint, you're African American, you're seen around the globe, your imprint is felt around the world. How significant is this moment now in history as women, Taj?
I think it's
as black women.
I think it's a very specific moment for black women, and I'm so happy to see us rising. I feel like we are bright and beautiful and creative and talented and leaders, and in particular in film and television right now, it's just a feast of black women's voices. But I must say, it's not like it's, we've taken over. I feel like what's happened is all of a sudden you have more than 2 black television creators working at one time. And so it looks like a lot. But if you look at the fact that there are probably over 167 shows on at any given time, and 10 of those are now created and run by black people, 3 by black women, then we're not taking over. We're just allowing our presence is being felt in a new way. And it's just, I'm humbled to have this season, to be a part of this season.
As we were preparing for this interview, I was just thinking about this time in world history, really, and how women have really galvanizing and taking the news cycle to a new level. Talk about the historicity of this moment in terms of you and your daughter in this nomination and the impact as black women.
It allows the rest of the world to see what we have always known as black women, that we are leaders, that we are capable of doing things that people say are impossible, that it is not a man's world, it's really a woman's world. And I think that to allow us to progress in this area is very important, because some people really feel that women can't do X and women can't do Y. And it needs to be known that women can do whatever we are allowed and given an opportunity to do. And it's important also, it's the same as for black. When you were black growing up, we were limited in the things that we could do. So it made some people believe that we were incapable, that we were ignorant, that we were dumb, that we were stupid. But once the doors of opportunity was open, once we were allowed to get an education, once we were allowed to get jobs in certain industries, it became abundantly clear that we're very, very intelligent and that we're capable of competing with anyone on any level. And that's what this era at this time is showing, is that women are capable, black people are capable, and that all you need to do is open up the door. And once the doors open up, we're gonna bust it down.
Bust it down.
Bust it down.
We're coming through.
That's what, if you look at it, if you look at every area that you allow black women, black men in, we shine.
We shine.
Whether it be, science, there's always one or two of us who will rise to the top of any field. You could go from science and talk about Mae Jemison to tennis and Arthur Ashe and the Williams sisters to media and entertainment. We always shine when that door is open. You can count on us.
And it's interesting because when I began as a television judge, it was just Judge Judy was the only female judge out there. And it was, I believe, Judge Joe Brown, and I think Judge Mathis came before me. I'm not quite sure the order, but I was the first black woman, and the only other woman. Judge Judy's comment to that, when they asked her, what about me sharing this field, she said, oh, I knew I'd rise and I'd shine as long as there were men. My only competition was men. But when a woman got out here, I knew it would be competition. So it really speaks highly of our intelligence and what we're capable of doing. But not only that, you're talking about Me Too, the Me Too movement, and there's still the inequity, though, in pay. They're giving us the jobs, but now they have to start giving us the money. That's equal to pay as men, and that's our next hurdle we need to fight, and that we are fighting, is the equality in pay, and because that's really not fair. But one step at a time.
Well, I'll say this to you: you all look absolutely wonderful. We're in this wonderful setting, these beautiful dresses by the designer of this beautiful boutique here in Southern California on a sunny day.
The Wilborn sisters.
And how you all feeling? You guys, you all look lovely.
I feel great.
I'm excited every time I feel lovely. I feel divine. Just absolutely divine.
Yes, you do. And you look divine, Mother.
So do you.
You look very lovely.
Whenever I walk in Carolyn's place, or whenever I'm around her, our designer, she is just so magnetic. I mean, she has so much energy, and she loves.
Came off the earring.
And she loves what she does.
Sure.
And it just makes you feel wonderful as a woman. I mean, she just struts and she turns and she twists and she puts clothes on you, and you're like, woo, magic!
Yeah, she's really a magical designer. I have forgotten. I haven't been here and seen her in years, and she has such an eye, and she has an ability to make what looks so simple turn into something so glamorous. She's very gifted, very gifted.
Finally, as we close this history-making opportunity, what's your hope, Judge, for the future of media and African-American women and men going forward?
Well, my hope for the future of America, African-American men, the media and all, is that we come to realize and accept and learn to love and respect each other in our differences, in our difference in races, difference in sizes, difference in talents, and just allow people to grow and to be who they are. Just allow them to use their gifts and talents to better the world. I really want the media to look more like America. It is still more white than any other color. The stories are still too much about white and not everyone. America's a big country. Not only America, but the world is full of wonderful people of all different races, creeds, and colors, of different gifts and talents and abilities. And if that could be displayed in media, I think it would be a wonderful thing. I would like it to be more diverse. You use the word diverse. I just like it to be more realistic of the world and of who we all are. That's what my hope for for media is, my hope for the country is that we can begin to love and respect. I always thought about my daughter, Taj, and working in logo TV and dealing with issues related to gay lesbian. She's always been a child that's very sensitive to others and to people who are different and to children who are different. And as a matter of fact, she has helped me grow over the years to learn to get rid of some of my idiosyncrasies and some of those false beliefs that were put into us as children, in a different world when we were 60, 70 years ago, when people had different attitudes and thoughts. And she helps me to become a better person. I think if each of us take on the attitude that I want to be the tool that helps to create a better world, and I'll do it, and I'll do my part one day at a time, the world will be a better place.
Taj, we'll give you the final word.
The tool to make a better world lies within each of us. I feel like that's definitely my hope, that each person would understand that who you are as an individual creates a ripple throughout the world. So be a part of spreading the fruits of the Spirit: love, kindness, meekness, temperance, joy, faith, wisdom. And I think that if we can practice that within ourselves, we'll practice that outside as well.
In 46 years of the history of the Emmys, we're seeing this dynamic nomination for you two ladies. What are you all anticipating that night on the road to the 46 Emmys? In your limo, on the way?
Yeah. Are we gonna get a limo?
I don't know about that. I feel like we'll be in her car. She's in a town car, and
no, really, we're gonna splurge. We're gonna get a limo.
Really? Mm-hmm. No, we're not. I don't want to be in a limo. We'll just be in the car. She knows I like to just keep it humble and chill. But I feel like I've had the pleasure of being here twice before. Our network won in 2016 for Matt Shepard, is a friend of mine, and again last year for Out of Iraq. So I feel like a little bit of my jitters are gone because of that, and so the excitement will really just be knowing that I get to walk down the carpet with my mom. It's just that's just the experience. And then if we win, I know she'll tell me to go to the front, and I won't, because I feel like that's the filmmaker's moment. So you'll see us kind of fussing about that.
Well, now that you told me, I won't tell you anything. But if she wins, I'll holler loud enough for her, whether she goes to the front or not, because it'll be, yeah, that's my baby. But I'm expecting to just enjoy the moment. People have been concerned about winning. And of course, we'd love to win. But whether I win or not, this is the moment. The nomination is, in and of itself, that is a lot. And I just expect to enjoy the moment. I've never been to the Emmy. I've never walked the red carpet with my daughter. I've never shared this type of event with her, because the first two that she went to, she didn't even tell me she was going. Didn't even tell me she was nominated until it was all over. It was all over. When she told me she's like, Mommy, I won an Emmy. You won. When did you go? When were you nominated? So she just kind of kept it very quiet, but so this will be exciting.
Like
yeah,
this was weird like that.
She's not weird. She just kind of keeps things to herself.
Yeah, it just feels like
she doesn't want you to make a big fuss over it.
Right.
And that's what we figured out. It's like, are we gonna have a party? Nope. Yeah, we're gonna have a party. Nope. Now somebody said, okay, the studio will give us a party. Okay, we'll do it. Nope, they're not gonna do it. So are we gonna have a party? I called her, so Friday said, okay, we'll have a party. Sean, my publicist, says, yes, we're going to have a party. And I guess that was the final word. Yes, we're going to have a party. So now we're having a party.
And I'm glad, because we get a chance to celebrate with all the people who have supported her throughout the years, and certainly through I've been in entertainment now 21 years myself.
Oh, yeah.
And so just an opportunity to say thank you for all of the people who support you along the way, because a career goes up and it goes down.
It sure does.
You really learn who your friends are during the down. And I've had that experience. And so I just want to say to them, thank you.
Judge, we'll give you the final word. Talk about this mother-daughter bond that we see here.
Do we have a bond?
I think so.
It's absolutely wonderful. We go back and forth. We banter because I'm a mother, and I told her I can't help that I'm a mother. So I still say, did you have your coat? It's cold outside. Make sure you take a coat. As you heard me today, I was checking her outfit. You showed a little too much cleavage, and I just love her. I'm so proud of her. And when I think of the fact that God allowed me to birth this child and to parent her and to raise her, and when I see this moment, your mothers wonder, did I do the right thing? Did I make mistakes? I know I made some mistakes. I made a lot of mistakes in raising her. But I thank God that the mistakes did not outshine the other part. And I'm just blessed and just happy to be able to share this moment with her now, to know that it's happening, not for somebody to tell me about it. Like for my mother, she was at that point that I got on television initially, she was going through Alzheimer's. So although she understood it somewhat, she didn't really grasp it like I'm doing right now. I mean, this is one of the happiest moments any mother or parent could wish for. So I'm just excited.
Judge Mablean and Taj, thank you.
Thank you.